Hi, I'm Stephanie,
And I'm Justy,
and together we're losing it. We've each lost over 100 pounds with the help of diet, exercise, and breaking bad habits. And I also had weight loss surgery in 2020.
And I recently had skin removal surgery.
We're just sharing our journey and what we've learned throughout the process.
And we're not doctors, so if you have any medical questions, reach out to your doctor.
Welcome back, friends. We are here for another episode. Myself and Justy, and apparently Sancho's making his cameo appearance. He's
My
gotten a
favorite.
lot to say. Um, So today we're going to talk about it's been a year for me and almost a year I think for Justy of coming off of Mounjaro. So coming off of a GLP-1
Hmm.
and maintaining our weight. So I kind of wanted to wait to do this episode until May. We're in June now, but May is exactly a year for me of coming off of Mounjaro, and I know Justy wasn't far behind me.
Right.
And she also didn't take it nearly as long as me. So we're just going to talk about that. We're both in maintenance and have been in maintenance for a year now, which is insane to think about.
Yeah,
Um,
yes.
I know, and kind of what exactly maintenance means to us because I was a guest on another podcast talking about maintaining weight after a GLP-1, and I felt like a bit of a fraud because I didn't maintain my lowest weight, if that makes sense. I know it's not, Justin and I were just talking about how hard we can be on ourselves with things and how, a lot of us who were morbidly obese or are morbidly obese, we're perfectionists.
Hmm.
And it's very black and white, it's very all or nothing. So I didn't maintain my lowest weight, so I feel like a fraud, but at the same time, I've maintained within like 15 pounds of my goal weight. My goal was to maintain within 10 pounds, and I think that's the part that's really getting me. I've been within 15 pounds. But if you
Hmm.
think about it, so you are on this medication for this length of time, you lose the weight, your body is then going to adjust after that to some point. But I think my body likes its set point, and we'll get some more into that because Justy's in the same boat as me.
Hmm.
Um, but like it's been a wild mental journey for me in the last year, watching the scale somewhat fluctuate, but at the same time, it's been a wild journey thinking that I'm doing this on my own. So it's kind of freeing, but also like very nerve-wracking at the same time. So Justy, I'll let you talk a little bit about let's go into why we took it,
Hmm.
how it like maybe side effects, how it was while we were on it, and then we can get into what it was like off of it. So I'll let you go first because yours is a bit of a smaller story because you only did it for a handful of months.
Yeah, so I got if I remember correctly, I did it for 3 months. I had 3 months that I got from my doctor, then I couldn't get it anymore. And then Steph gave me hers, which we don't recommend.
No.
And I think you gave me 2 months worth. I'm thinking. So total, I think I was on it for like 5 months. And I lost, and I started off at 2.5. I ended up, I think, at 7.5. And that's the 2 months, I think, or either month or 2 months that stuff gave me. So anyway, I lost 8 pounds on it in 5 months. I was pretty close. I got down to 183 was my lowest weight. I'm 192 today. So I'm within that 10 pounds of my lowest weight. And for me, that's maintenance. That's good. I feel good about that. Um, I had some I took it because I just wanted to know. I'm just a curious person, and I just really wanted to know because I'd heard so much about it shutting off the chatter in your brain, and it does. It really, really does. And honestly, if I could take it, if it wasn't so expensive and so hard to get, and I feel like other people need it more than me, I definitely would probably take it again, but that's not my situation, and that's okay because I've maintained for a year now. And the side effects for me were constipation, which, listen, I don't have really good movement anyway, so it just made it worse. I would get a little bit of a headache the day after because I take the shot at night. And the day after, I would have a headache. And I did have a lot of fatigue that I don't feel now. And I don't know if that aligned with that or not, but I just remember feeling like tired all the time. And now I just have like a shit ton of energy. So, and I've been off it for uh, almost a year, I guess, because I think I took it just a month or two longer than after Steph, but I started like 6 months later or something like that.
Yeah, and it's weird because as you were saying it, I was only on it for 8 months. So maybe you started it
Maybe that was
sooner than,
4.
yeah, I was on it for 8 because I went on in October, and I came off in May. So, I was 8 months with mine.
I think I did 4 months because I didn't start it until after I recovered somewhat from my surgery. And I had
Mm.
my surgery and I was not
And you were
taking it. I don't,
stockpiling it. You were like
yeah,
holding on to the
yeah.
doctor wouldn't give you any more prescriptions. He's like, you actually started.
Right. So and I know I wasn't taking it when I went on my cruise to Florida, and that was July 4th. So, it was probably like April, May, June, or March, April, May, June, something like that. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That
um,
sounds about right. Yeah, so I think you took it for about half the amount of time as me. Um,
mhm,
so and very similar. Our stories are very similar. So for me, the whole reason that I took it was because yes, I had weight loss surgery. And some people may say, well, if you have weight loss surgery, why do you need weight loss medication? Listen, we're all fighting a battle here, okay? I need
mhm,
whatever tool I can get my hands on to keep me as healthy as possible. So
mhm,
don't judge. Yes, I had both. And from what I understand, people who have had weight loss surgery are more successful with the weight loss medication as well because you're like doubling down on the tool. So where
mhm,
I had the restriction, I had the double restriction because my stomach is smaller already. And the weight loss medication is giving me the restriction as well. So it's even more beneficial to those of us who have had weight loss surgery. So if you haven't been following us for that long of a journey, I had vertical sleeve back in 2020. So I am almost 4 years post-op of vertical sleeve gastrectomy, if I'm saying that correctly. I hate the G word. I can never get that right. VSG, I have. And so, so I'm not a doctor, I'm a chef. So yeah, I had that, and then about a year and a half or so post-op, I started with regain. And I started with
mhm,
the regain because I didn't do the mental work really that I should have done. And so when I recorded with Barry Nation about this same topic, April kind of put me in check because I was saying I didn't do the work. And she's like, no, Steph, you did do the work. You did the work that you knew how to do. You maybe
mhm,
didn't do like the work that you now know that you could have done. She said, but you did the best that you could do given the information that you had. And she's not wrong. But in my all or nothing mindset, in my perfectionist mindset, I didn't do the work, is the way that I'm
mhm,
seeing it. I was thinking to myself, oh, this weight is coming off. This is great. And then you pass that honeymoon stage, and all of a sudden you have this regain. And I was back up over 200 pounds. And that's when I got really, really scared. I was like, oh shit, I'm going to be that statistic of that person who everybody says, I know so and so that, gained all their weight back. And I was mortified. So I lived in Charlotte at the time. I could not see my surgical center here in Delaware. So I had to find a new doctor. So I just, flip through who's covered by my insurance, and I found this weight loss doctor, and I went to him, and I'm thinking it was my 2 year post-op appointment, and I'm like, I'm gonna be in trouble. He's gonna tell me, why haven't you been eating right? You're 1,200 calories, you're this, you're that, all the things they give you in the damn binder that makes no sense to you after surgery. um but it was very different. I had a very different experience when I went to him. He was kind, which you don't, as an obese person, don't often get from a doctor. He was kind. He was understanding. He explained things to me. He was very matter of fact. When I
mhm,
told him that I had regained and how low I was and where I was at that time, which was, I want to say, around 210. Um, and my lowest was like right around 170. He was like, oh, it's okay. He's like, we have options. We can either, he's like, there's always a revision. You can do a revision to bypass, which I didn't want bypass in the first place because it's very invasive. And I just wanted the simplest procedure possible without rearranging my organs. I was like, I'm not there quite yet. I think I can do this without that. He said there's some medications out there. There's some in pill form that he's like, I don't think are as effective. And then he's like, and then there's some shots, um, that I think are really effective. And I was like, I don't think I want a needle. I don't like needles. And this was before Mounjaro and all these GLP-1s really came around and were a big thing. I didn't know anybody else taking them. I didn't know anybody else doing this.
Right.
And he's like, well, there's this coupon code for this one, and it was Mounjaro. And he's like, we've been seeing really good benefits. It's for people with diabetes. He's like, but you were pre-diabetic and you do have blood sugar issues. He's like, I think you would be really successful with it. And I was like, I don't know. So he's like, he's like, I'll write you the prescription. Go home, think about it. Let me know what you want to do. So I did. And I thought about it and I was like, you know what? This man was kind to me. He was not, you should be exercising more, eating less. He didn't give you the usual spiel that a doctor gives you. And for whatever reason, I just trusted him right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna give this a try. And then I told Justy about it. I'm like, here's this medication I'm gonna take, and there's a coupon code. She's like, let me get this coupon code. So she downloaded it as well at the time, which luckily because but were you also grandfathered in when they changed the rules on it? Because you had
Yeah.
downloaded it early enough that you were
Right.
grandfathered in as well. So yeah, so I got it. He told me which pharmacy I should go to because some of them were having problems in the area, not being able to get it, people not wanting to give it to you. And, whether you had insurance or not, it didn't, or that covered it, it didn't matter. It was still $25. So it was great. I was very lucky. I had no idea what to expect, but I started taking the shot. He suggested, doing the shot in my thigh to avoid GI issues, because you get nauseous and things like that. So I was doing my thigh and I would alternate thighs every week. So some of my side effects, same as Justy, constipation, but hey, I'm in the same boat as her. It's not always moving anyway. Um, Headaches, and I did the same thing. I took my shot at night because I thought at least I'll sleep through the first like 7, 8 hours of side effects if I take it before I go to bed anyway. One of the things that I did have at that time, and I realize now it was from the shot because I don't anymore, is night sweats. I was thinking it
Mhm.
was like a premenopausal thing that was happening, but I think it was a side effect from the shot because I don't have that issue anymore where I was having like specifically night sweat sleeping. I could not get comfortable. I was hot and like having like hot flashes, and that's gone. But I did, and I was talking to Isaac about this, and he was like, "No, Steph." He's like, "You did have some stomach issues," and I think he's right. He's like, "I think you switched from your thigh to your stomach because I had heard that you had better success if you did the shot in your stomach." And I switched to my stomach, and I did get some nausea issues there. Or if I would eat too much sugar while I was taking it, it would make me nauseous as well. So that kind of like put me in check with like putting my
Mhm.
sugar in check because if I ate too much of it, I would get nauseous. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. That absolutely did happen. So the side effects, in my opinion, didn't outweigh the effects of the actual medication because just like Justy was saying, like the food noise was gone. I didn't even think about it. Like we'd be on vacation and I'm not thinking like, ooh, we should get food from here. We should try this or I should do that. It wasn't all the talk. There could be cookies in the pantry and I wasn't thinking about them. Cookies are my nemesis. Like I I I can't have cookies around me and not want to eat them. And I don't know what it is about cookies that I love so much in particular when it comes to sweets, but I didn't think about them. It didn't bother me. And I wasn't always like almost like a smoker, like trying to figure out when can I have my next cigarette type of thing. I was never a smoker, but I know that that's how it is. Or even like an alcoholic, like any addict, when you're trying to figure out when you can get your next like dopamine hit, that's how it is. Like my brain constantly thinks about when am I going to have more food and specific food, like specifically those cookies. I told Justy earlier today, I was like in the kitchen, I'm like, ooh, I could go for something sweet. And I started like looking around and I was like, I had to like check myself. I'm like, no, we're not doing this. Like, for what? I just
Right.
ate breakfast. I had, 2 eggs and turkey sausage and a slice of toast. Like, I'm good. And that was like
Right.
exactly the food that my body needed. And that's it. I don't need something sweet. So
You
for
know,
me, it's a sweet tooth that I have. That's my issue.
what's interesting when I did take the Manjaro for me, and I didn't take it for that long, but it kind of validated the fact that how I think and how I am is a medical condition,
Yeah.
right? Because this medicine cured it. Like this medicine took away all of that chatter. This medicine took away my cravings. This medicine took away that urge, that almost desperate need to fulfill with food this whatever. And so that's what was like interesting to me. It's like all this time, all these years, I felt like I was bad, or I was lazy, or I didn't have any willpower, or I was, just, you know, gross or disgusting because I couldn't stop eating. And, just I just thought so many bad things about myself. And when I took this medicine, all that went away. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I'm not bad. I do have willpower. All these other things in my life I've done are amazing. It's that chemically, hormonally, whatever it is, my body, this is how it works. And it's just like somebody with a heart disease or somebody with any other medical issue. It needs medication or an alternative way of fixing it, right? And so that is the big thing I got out of taking Mounjaro was, okay, if all of this stuff that I've been fighting for years can be fixed, not 100% fixed, but can be like
Aligned. It's
tamed,
aligned.
tamed
Yeah.
down. And I
Mm-hmm.
can feel like what I think normal, quote unquote, normal people feel like I don't think of myself as bad anymore. And even though I don't take the medication anymore, I'm like, this is just, it is what it is. This is how I am. And it's different than skinny people. And either I take medication to fix it, which is okay, or I just know this is how I am and I figure out ways to keep myself healthy. And
Yeah.
so that's what it did for me. And I know that might sound a little weird, but it just validated that it is not me being lazy or me being disgusting because I just want to eat everything all the time, or me
Mm-hmm.
being overly emotional and eating or all this stuff. It's no, it's a hormone, right? So this drug stops your hormone, your hunger hormone, and it blocks your receptor in your brain.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what it is.
And same for me. So it for me was like my second chance because that is why we hear so many stories about someone that had weight loss surgery and they gained all their weight back. Because
Mhm.
number one, and not to knock a lot of surgical centers, because I don't know, everybody's doing the best that they can, but they just don't give you enough information. I love
Mhm.
my surgical center, and I got the binder that everybody else gets. It was packed full of information, but nothing of what to do when you're in maintenance. Not a damn thing of what to do when you're in maintenance. You're told to
Mhm.
eat 1,000 calories, 1,200. Actually, they don't even really tell you calories. They just give you a protein goal. And that protein goal was like, I don't know, 65 grams of protein. Well, that's legit like half of what I need. So it's
Right.
not even like, and I get it. You can't put out a binder for everybody that's going to give the exact amount or whatever. But if they don't talk to you about head work. They don't talk to you about therapy. And honestly, therapy should be a part of this
Yep.
journey
Mhm.
because it's up here. It's not that we're lazy. It's not that we don't, because we are far from lazy. Let's be real. We
Mhm.
never have been. It's just
Right.
not who we are. We're not lazy. We're not sloppy. We're not, all the things that we've been told or that we've believed over the years. We're not that. We just have our brains work differently. It craves things differently. And like you said, whatever caused that and chasing that dopamine hit for us it was our escape because you know what? Maybe when you were lonely, because I know we talked about this in previous episodes that your emotional eating was out of loneliness.
Mhm.
My emotional eating or loneliness or bored or whatever, and mine is some of that as well. And just like I don't know, like just trying, it's just like a comfort thing.
Mhm.
Um, and so food has always supplied that comfort to us, whether
Right.
it be lonely or bored or whatever the case is, food has
Mhm.
always supplied that comfort to us because just never let us down. Like the cookies never let me down. Even if
Right.
they weren't good, they didn't let me down.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
think you said it on the last episode we recorded that you're getting that like 3 minutes of pleasure out of something. And in the
Hmm.
end, now you're pissed off. So it's like this never ending cycle of you chasing this dopamine hit, having it for 3 seconds, and then now what?
Right.
Yeah, for me, what the medication did was help me to realize that same as Justy, I'm not, it's just how my body is. It
Mhm.
gave me the second chance to attack the things I didn't attack after having weight loss surgery. So knowing I've got to get my hydration in, I've got to get my sleep in, all of the basics. I've got it. I always took my vitamins. They were easy for me. I rarely do I miss them. It's just like there's no work involved in like swallowing a vitamin. So I'd never really had a problem getting that. But getting my sleep, getting my nutrition and movement. And you and I you've always been more disciplined when it comes to like the gym and movement and whatnot. And I have
Mhm.
more so recently this year, I've really gotten myself into a groove and I'm feeling really good about it. I'm there now as well. And then the food part, I've been meal prepping literally for close to 2 years now, solid. Like even
Mhm.
when we moved back up here and I lived in a camper, I meal prepped in a camper. So
Mhm.
like having that as building these routines and these healthy habits, this is what I did with my second chance at having a healthy lifestyle is that I really focused on the things that I know and we've always known what to
Mhm.
do to maintain or to lose weight. I focused on those things because it was easy towards like after you get past all the hard stuff of weight loss surgery and like the puree stage and like all this bullshit that you have to go through. Once you got into your groove, it was easy for
Mhm.
just a couple of months, and that's where you slip. You get into that
Mhm.
honeymoon stage and you slip and you stop paying attention to all of the little things that you're supposed to be doing. You're like, cool, I'm losing weight, this is great. And then all of a sudden, not cool, I'm gaining weight. Oh shit, now what?
Right. And
And
I
it gave
think
me that second chance.
there's a lot of people too that and I guess it's probably for people who've lost a lot of weight. For me, fortunately, I've lost a lot of weight a few years ago and I haven't gained it back. Like I haven't had regain. I've just been kind of steady, staying within the same 10 pounds, losing more, stay within, lose some more. But I'm sure as a bariatric patient, especially also as someone who's lost weight without that tool, um, the kind of guilt that you feel about gaining the weight back. And
Yeah.
then it hits harder, right? Because it's like, okay, before we, up and down, up and down, up and down, but now I went through all of this, right? And I'm gaining weight back. So that guilt probably hit harder and the unwillingness to like admit it. And that's when we've talked about it before. We see people fall off of our Instagram or from posting stuff or this or that. And we just inside our hearts, we know, oh, they're gaining it back. So it's really important to have a community of people. But and doing your checkups, had you never gone to your doctor at that 2-year checkup because you felt ashamed, right?
Mhm.
Um, but we're also not the type of women that are just going to sit down and allow shit to happen. So, but not every woman is like that. Not every
Right.
woman has that mindset that we have as far as like just, okay, well, I'm going to get through this. So I'm sure that's very difficult as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head because I really was tail between the legs going into this doctor who I had never met before. And I just knew I was going to get diet and exercise out of it. And I didn't. And I'm
Hmm.
lucky. And I know I'm lucky in that sense. And I know I'm lucky now that I'm back at my the original surgery center that I had before. I'm lucky because they also embraced me when I came back in for my 3-year checkup. They offered more medication to me, like, hey, I'll prescribe it for you if you want it, because she knew that I was off of it and I had now I call it regain, but so and I didn't get into this. I was down to 155. 155 was my lowest weight. That's when I came off because I kept losing and I didn't want to go down any further. And I knew moving back up here, I was going to have a hard time transferring my prescription and everything. And I was on the coupon card and it was $25 and it was going to be a mess trying to change it. Everybody was trying to get it. It was hard to get. So I knew it's time to just pull the plug. And also I wanted to just maintain. I didn't want to lose anymore. So when I did, because it was Isaac who said to me, he's like, Steph, you can do it. He's like, I don't think you need this medication. And me, it's like my security blanket. I'm like, I kind of do. Like I was very
But we
looking
don't, it's interesting because we don't necessarily need it, right? Because we've proven that we don't need it. But had you not had it, where would you be?
exactly,
Right.
exactly.
So, and I lost 8 pounds. I've gained that 8 pounds, I've stayed within that 8 pounds basically. But for you in particular, it's interesting because had you not taken it, would you have been able to, I mean, you've lost what, 60 pounds or something like that. Would you be
Mhm.
able to do that? And I probably would say no, because that gave you an extra 8 months to work on the mental side of things, to work
Yep.
on the habits, to work on the, what do you want most in life, and aligning what you're doing now with that. And I think, so that's interesting. And again, and there's so many people out there who are like, oh, you don't need this drug, oh, you don't need this surgery, oh, whatever, but you don't live in my mind. You don't know what I
Right,
go through every day.
right.
So I like to tell those people to fuck off, because, they
Mhm.
told me the same thing with surgery. Like, oh my God, why are you having another surgery? Because I want to, A, and because I want to. It's like,
B.
like,
Right.
I just, because I'm going to. And so it's
Right.
like, it's
Because you don't
interesting.
know
You
what
don't
it's
live
like
in my,
to, yeah, you don't know what it's like to, we just were talking about this before we hit record, but I haven't had skin removal surgery, but it's days like that that make me think, okay, I need to do it because well, number one, I ended up with, after running Ragnar, so I did like 18.2 miles, I think, in what was it, like, I don't know, 24 hours or whatever the case it was. I developed a rash underneath of my skin. So I have, and a lot of times you don't see it because we tuck it in really well. I have high-waisted like compression leggings that I wear to the gym. And my pants that I wear almost on a regular are kind of like spandexy compression. It holds it all in. But when I wear, it's probably TMI, but it's whatever at this point. We share it all. When I wear my workout leggings, I don't wear underwear because I don't want the rubbing and I will end up with chafing. Well, my skin that folds down rubbed and I ended up with a big chafing scab underneath. And I was like, son of a bitch. So I reached out to my doctor and they were quick to send a couple prescriptions over for like a cream and a powder to put on, and it went away pretty quickly. But that's why. That's
Mhm.
why, because I couldn't even run a damn race without ended up bleeding out of it because my skin is folding over.
Yeah.
That's why I laid down in bed. I was on my side and I looked and I could see this like thin body frame and then this like pool, this like puddle of skin laying there. And I was like, that's why. Because I
Yeah.
have a puddle of skin laying on my bed and I could see what my body shape is, but you can't see it past all of this skin. So you can't recognize the hard work that you do, which is another episode. We'll get into that
That's a
next. It's
whole,
actually
yeah, we could
literally the next episode, but
literally, yeah.
that's why. And
Uh-huh.
so after, doing, it was a hard decision for me to get off of the medication because I felt it was like a security blanket for me because I knew I knew I was gonna eventually the food noise is gonna come back. The restriction that I had, because I felt like I was 6 months post-op again with the restriction. That's exactly how it felt. Like I was 6 months post-op. I was eating regular food, but I had restriction. And you don't have the same restriction as time goes on. Like I can eat larger portions now. I don't have to, but I can because
Mhm.
I'm almost 4 years post-op. But having that was just that tool that helped me. And like Justy said, if I could, and I told her this too, and she kind of put me in my place like Justy does. I feel a little bit like a fraud saying that I'm maintaining my weight when it's not maintaining the weight, my lowest weight, but also I'm saying that I would go back on the medication if I could get it without having to pay out of pocket, whatever $500-600 that it is, I would go back on it. And that makes me feel like a fraud, but at the same time,
Well, and
I want my
it's
brain to
funny.
be like a normal person. I don't want to think about it all the
Yeah.
time.
No, I get it. And I told her, which some people might not get the analogy because they don't know how to, but I was telling her, I said, but you wouldn't use a paper map when you have GPS. You wouldn't just do that. Like, use the tool, use the technology, use the advances in our world to help. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Right,
I would rather, I just don't want to deal with it, right? If it was easy to get and it wasn't super expensive, I would probably do it too. I just don't want to deal with it. But
right,
because I don't like to do things that I have to deal with, because I deal with enough in life. But that mindset of it being fake, or it being the easy way out, or what have you, that's what I always think about when my employees are bitching about technology or a new way of doing something. I'm like, listen, y'all wouldn't be using a paper map. We have GPS. It's the same
right.
thing. We don't go to bars anymore to find dates. We go online. It is what it is. Like, we've advanced, and so has weight loss. And so these drugs are just the GPS of weight loss, and I don't
Right.
think it's bad.
Right. Yeah, we've evolved.
We've
The
evolved.
world is
So the
evolving and we need to evolve with it.
weight loss has evolved, but our mindset is still stuck in, I don't want to, lazy, it's this, it's that. And it just sucks, because like, even with doctors too, I truly feel like if I have a heart disease, my doctor's going to take that really fucking serious, right? They're going to
Yeah.
send me to all the people, all the things, all the medications, all the whatever. But because I have a weight problem, I'm just lazy. I just need to
Right.
eat less. I just need to
And
work
let's be
more,
real,
work harder.
the weight problem is what's leading to the heart problem, most likely. I'm
Right.
sorry, I swear there is somebody outside. Hang on one second. I know we're in the middle of recording, but okay. All right, all good. It's at the neighbor's house. I'm like, I thought I heard knocking. And I'm like, who's here? Nobody even knows where I live. Okay.
That's
Um,
funny. So
so
I think
anyway,
that there's a lot to, I'm excited, because with these drugs, there's a lot to come, but along with these drugs also needs to be a support system, a support
yes.
from, the medical community that is like, hey, we're going to tell you more than eat 1,200 calories and work out all the time, because that's not the solution.
Exactly. And also like being your lowest weight isn't your healthiest weight for sure.
No.
And I think there's been a lot of studies that have proven that people, and they call it Ozempic butt, or Ozempic face, or Mounjaro butt, or Mounjaro face, or whatever. But I do think if you don't get your protein in, you're not doing strength training and that kind of thing, you're when you're on this medication, and I'm not a doctor, but this is just my understanding from studying, because you and I are very connected in all things of weight loss, and especially these medications because we were on them. You tend to lose muscle, and I think that's what was happening to me, because yeah, I was sliding into these side eights like it was nothing, these jeans, and I was thin, but I didn't have muscle like I have now. Like now I am 15 pounds over my goal weight, but or 15, yeah, about 15 pounds over my goal weight. But at the same time, like I can see some muscle underneath of this skin that I have. I can see muscle, and my booty came back because it started going away. But that's because I do like either body pump or strength training classes a week on top
Mhm.
of my cardio, which is like running or walking. I'm doing all the things. So I'm doing the things to help my body to keep the muscle. So while I'm like that's the important thing is on which I would, if I was on the medication again, I would keep in mind that you have to get your protein, or your muscle is gonna,
Go
dissolve. I
away.
don't know a better term for it. And you also have to do the strength training to keep your muscle up, to build the muscle, because otherwise that's what when you're losing the weight, you're not necessarily losing fat, you're losing whatever you can
Right.
lose. And sadly that was part of it. And we both discovered when you gain weight back, you gain it in new places, like your
Yeah.
back.
My back. I just have this
Both of
back
us.
fat. And
Yes, I'm like, what is this? What's popping over my bra? I
I'm
didn't have
telling
that
you, and
before.
it's funny because we're going to talk about body image in our next podcast, and kind of our body image before weight loss and now that we're in maintenance, and what we still struggle with and that sort of thing. And it's interesting because I have a whole another outlook on life with my skin removal surgery. But yeah, I feel like I did gain 8 pounds back. I don't know where I lost the 8 pounds from, honestly. I was just smaller, but I gained 8 pounds back, and I know exactly where it is, right here. It's in my back. So it's just weird how your body, just how it just changes.
Right.
And I think, so I think in conclusion, we both had success. Steph obviously had more success than I did on the Mounjaro. She took it for a longer time, and she had more of regain to lose than I did. Plus, along with the sleeve that she had, they've said that people with that have a little bit more success. So there's that. We both have been able to maintain a healthy weight, not the lowest weight, but we've been able to maintain a healthy weight. Since then, I've gained 8 pounds or so, depending on the day and time of the month. And we both would take it again. I believe I would, if it wasn't so difficult, if it wasn't so expensive, if it wasn't so difficult, if it wasn't so, just a pain in the ass. And the benefits well outweigh the side effects. Do you agree?
100%. Yeah, I
Yeah.
100% agree. Yeah.
Mhm.
And as much as I sometimes feel like a fraud saying that, because I pride myself on saying that I am maintaining my weight, and I am, and we both are. We're maintaining not the number we want, but the number that our body wants. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I have a couple drinks. It doesn't matter if I don't have a couple drinks. It doesn't matter if I work out today or I don't work out today. I'm going to
Mhm.
wake up tomorrow and I'm probably going to be 182 again. Like
Yeah.
182. I'm somewhere between 180 and like 185 every day. And that is not
Yeah.
what I want, but it's what my body wants. So it's just
Mhm.
like, I mean, I think that's where consistency is key. I'm not giving up because I wake up at 182 today and 184 tomorrow. I'm still gonna like I have my plans, my workout plans today are gardening, and that's gonna be a workout because I got a lot of work to do. Yesterday I went for a walk. Last week I had something like 10 workout sessions recorded on my watch. That's because we had hike a couple different hikes, and I did some runs, and just a lot of different things that we were doing. So, and my watch resets every Sunday, so it's kind of like just being consistent. I don't have to do just because it's Monday. I don't have to never miss a Monday. What I have to do is, do I want it, do I have the ability to do, and do I want to today, or do I want to tomorrow? Like I can't just stop and give up, but I can pause for a day if I need to. It's
Yeah.
the consistency. It's the part where we don't give up on ourselves. Same thing with meal prep. Away last weekend. That doesn't mean that I didn't meal prep anything. When I came home, it wasn't until like Wednesday or Thursday, I think, that I actually put some stuff together. That's okay too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And I think a lot of our work that we've done, whether it was using a tool or not, is us just realizing that, like, it doesn't have to be perfect, and it's not all or nothing, and it's just consistency and listening to yourself and just making the best decision you can make at the time, and letting that shit go.
yeah.
And just
I
talking
also
really
heard
good to yourself.
I also heard something, I don't remember where I heard it, but that if you are consistent the majority of the time,
Mhm.
that's when you find success. And what do we know is the majority is 51%. Well, but
Yeah.
when you think about like a test grade at 51%, you're like, I fucking failed. But if you think
Right.
about the majority at 51%, yeah, we have to be consistent the majority of the time. So
Mhm.
51%. So that just means we have to do in a week, we need to do at least half of the days of the things that we say we're going to do. Or in the
Yeah.
day, we have to do at least half of the things that we say we're going to do. That's the majority. So, and then you're keep moving forward. But the second that you do zero and you stop and you give up, because I've given up. I didn't want a bariatric anymore, and I stopped. I stopped doing the things that I needed to do,
Mhm.
and that's when I saw the regain. So just we just
Yeah.
have to one foot in front of the other, and it doesn't have to be perfect every day.
Mhm. Yes, exactly. So that is our 1 year after taking Manjaro. A lot of people say you gain all your weight back or you have to take
Mhm.
it forever. I would like to take it again, but you don't have to.
Right.
So,
Yeah, we're
um,
good where we're at. We're gonna
yeah, we're
stay the course either way.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And our next, let's see, we didn't we need to talk about self-love, but we literally just recorded like 2 days ago, so I haven't done any more
Right.
self-love.
It's all the same.
Yeah, so yeah, I haven't done any self-love. I'm gonna go get my nails done later today, maybe. Since it's raining and I can't go hiking, I'm gonna go get my nails done.
All right. That's a
But
good alternative. And
Right.
hiking is self-love too, because there's nothing like connecting out in the woods alone.
With the nature. Well, you know
Yeah.
what? It's funny. I sent Steph a picture yesterday because I went to the pool. It was sunny outside. I went to the pool and I wore a bikini. Um, Little pink, hot pink bikini.
Yeah,
And
she was
you
looking
know,
good, looking good.
I didn't die or get pregnant and it was
Right.
fine. And so I'm going to do it again. And I'm okay with it. And I was supposed to go out last night and I was going to wear shorts out and I ended up not going. But that's my goal. I'm having my skin removal surgery in September. And so I want to just be really comfortable wearing shorts out and about and not have it be a thing that I think about the whole time. So I think the more I do it, the less I'll think about it, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Gotta love yourself before you fix yourself. So I
Yeah,
gotta
it's
love my
true.
legs before I fix my legs. So, there's that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's next up on our list is to talk about body image, our
Yep.
struggles with it. And then we've got some other things down the pipeline, but that's the next big one. Um, but that's it. So, any questions that anyone has in relation to Mounjaro, just weight loss medications or anything that we discussed today, our DMs are always open. We get a lot of
Mhm.
DMs from people that just, whether it just be support or questions or advice, and we're perfectly fine with it. There's two of us to
Yep.
man our inbox, but reach out to us at We Are Losing It on Instagram and any questions or anything like that. Also, and I forgot to mention this in the last podcast, we are trying to build as our little cute little brand that we are. We don't make anything off of this. We do it out of the goodness of our little hearts and to help keep ourselves in alignment. So if you haven't already, you can 100% support us by following us on Instagram and
Mhm.
engaging with us there, by liking and subscribing to however you're listening or watching or both. We're on all podcast platforms and we are on YouTube at We Are Losing It. So yeah, hit the little bell, subscribe, like, give your girls a little support to keep us going. And we appreciate it. With that, I think that's it.
Yes.
Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
Good. All right, y'all. Well, we will talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.